What's going on, everybody? Jeremy with Detroit Tech, and we're talking keyboards today, specifically which keyboard you should buy. Well, I guess really not that specific. Oh well. Anyway, if you take 30 seconds and search Amazon for keyboards, there are literally thousands available. When you dive in just a little bit further, you see there are a bunch of different sizes of keyboards. So we're going to take a high-level look at really the most common types of keyboards you'll see out there, give you some things to consider when trying to figure out which one you should buy. If you want to get a little bit more in-depth, Tenkeyless has a really good video that talks about a few extra and kind of more niche keyboard layouts than we'll go over here today. And I'll put a link to that right here and in the description below as well. Also, we'll have some suggestions of keyboards that we're fans of if you'd like to, purchase one of them, help support the channel. Now, while we go through this, keep in mind that I'm painting with a pretty broad brush and speaking about what you'll generally see. If you dive into the world of custom keyboards, there are many more key options and other things like screens and knobs and all sorts of crap. So we're looking at what I've found to be most common. So let's start with kind of the normal keyboard, full size. This is, normal keyboard that you really see everywhere. Has the numpad on the right side with the navigation arrow keys here to the left of the numpad. If you're working with numbers a lot, don't really have, want to have like an external numpad to the side, this is really a great choice for you. They can often have like extra keys too in the upper right, like this one for media controls. Really has everything, all the keys that you really need. Unless of course you need more, then you can up the size too. These are kind of what I call XL keyboards. These are full-size keyboards with extra keys. Most often they're aimed at gamers with like macro buttons, that sort of thing. Corsair, Logitech are kind of the main manufacturers that come to mind here. This one, it's an older version of the K95 from Corsair, and it's got regular keys all over here and then these 18 extra assignable keys on the side. It's useful, but it's also like really, really extra. It's massively huge, takes up a ton of space, and pretty much kills any and all thoughts of ergonomics that you may have. But it does have its place if you need to have like macros at your fingertips and don't want to shell out for something like a Stream Deck. If you like being a little bit more comfortable and having more space for your mouse, this is where the Tenkeyless or TKL keyboards start to come in. I have one right here. They're basically full-size keyboards with the numpad just kind of chopped off. They're not for everybody, but if you don't need a numpad, it's really great form factor. I have this is the drop control keyboard I use and love this kind of on the daily. I love how it looks and the space it gives me on my desk. It allows my arms to kind of fall more naturally while I'm gaming. Still has the function keys so I can repeatedly hit F5 while waiting for the next drop to come live. Basically, this size keyboard is way more comfortable and, at least in my opinion, it looks way better on the desk. Corsair, Logitech, Razer, SteelSeries, bunch of other manufacturers, and the bigger ones, that are geared towards gamers, have TKL keyboards available. As kind of a side note, I did actually purchase separately like a numpad since I've been using the control because I'm taking classes for my MBA and was just using the number row way too much, really for me to keep my sanity. I mean, you can find these external numpads for really, really cheap. Plus the one I got is wireless, so I can put it away too. So just kind of an extra option there. Going one step smaller is a 75% keyboard. The one I would guess you're actually familiar with is the Keychron K2. MKBHD raved about this a little while ago. The 75% keyboard is close to a TKL, but the arrow keys are kind of squished in. Some of the navigation buttons are gone. The function keys are still there, but they've just been moved down. No longer have any space between the groups and between the, the regular number row. And many of the 75% boards still have, home and delete and the page up and down buttons, but they can be configured a bit differently as well. Unless you really need insert, scroll lock, pause, or print, you'll be fine with this board if you're fine with the TKL. Honestly, I really wish I'd purchased the Alt instead of the Control from Drop. I'm really starting to like the aesthetic of the smaller keyboard and the ergonomics of it. Plus, the extra space for my mouse is really never a bad thing. You're not going to find a lot, if any, 75% keyboards from the big guys like Logitech, Corsair, Razer, SteelSeries again. There are still really plenty of pre-built keyboards out there, so you don't have to build and solder your own. You just kind of have to look at the right places. They're kind of lesser known to the greater gaming community, like a Ducky or KBD fan, something like that. The 65% keyboard is basically just a 75% keyboard with the function keys up top chopped off. and with an extra navigation button missing. With this Rogue gun, it looks way more rectangular than square, kind of like the 75%. You can find differences in how they're set up. Of course, there's a huge custom keyboard market out there. The big thing is the 65% keyboard is you still have the dedicated arrow keys. And because of that, this is probably the smallest keyboard I would personally go for. I need to have the arrow keys, especially while I'm working from home during the quarantine. The function keys are generally available through like the secondary layer button press, like the FN function button. It's found most likely like in the bottom row, and the corresponding number in the upper row, like 5, will give you the same result as just hitting F5. Again, as with the 75% board, you'll have to find these from smaller manufacturers. And finally, at least for this video, is the 60% form factor. We posted a video about this GK61 keyboard a little while ago. You can check that out over here. 60% keyboards lose the dedicated arrow keys. And for me, I just, on a daily basis, I just can't really deal with that. Layers are used quite a bit here, so you can hit, where'd it go? Oh yeah, here it is. You can hit the function button and other functions are there. It's just an extra key press for like literally everything. But if you don't need the arrow keys, I think it looks great on the desk and can be a really good aesthetic choice. Keyboards are just such a subjective thing, and on so many different levels. Not only are there aesthetics, but then you have to consider like the functionality of the ergonomics and stuff, and even the switches and what your needs are there. These were just kind of the main form factors out there that you'll find. Again, Take Keyboards did a video more in depth about, all of the keyboard form factors, and there's even variations within kind of each form factor a little bit. For now, for your needs, you need to figure out which keyboard form factor is best. Start with, again, what you need. Do you need a numpad? You can't stand having a separate one on your desk. Go full-size keyboard, or like the XL if you need that macro support. The more ergonomic choice is going smaller. So you just need to decide how much you can go without. If you're gaming a lot for hours and hours a day, you might want something a little bit smaller, better on your body. As far as the switches go, well, let me know in the comments below if you'd like us to kind of go through the basic options with switches to help you even further. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
And it goes like